Good early afternoon. Welcome into the new members and to the old members that have found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me. I was going to do an early afternoon update, but I decided to go live just in case we had a vivacious, I should say, back and forth to see what the audience, if they needed to gain a better understanding on what exactly is transpiring here the last 24 hours. And like we talked about yesterday, if you were part of the live, part of the updates, or just part of the community as a whole, we talked about how retail investors yesterday were selling into the hands of whales. And I wanted to know, and I haven't been able to find any concrete numbers, but I wanted to see how many of retail was selling out and the whales that were buying those shares up. Because smart money was buying that entire dip, especially as it got near 53 cents. It got eaten up, and that entire 13.5% drop has been eaten up entirely. We actually made a new high today. So what we talk about with the manipulation, and this is not just an XRP exclusive, but how it affects and how it commands retail investors to sometimes stay away from cryptocurrency. It's because of the fact that we don't understand liquidity grabs. We don't understand the fact that AI is controlling these trades through trading bots. Ripple, as a matter of fact, if you watch my update this morning, at the back end at about the 16, 17 minute mark, I talked about and I showed the official document about how Ripple back in 2016, 2017, they had ongoing litigation with the fact that they got caught up in apparently manipulating the price targets, the price swings in 2016 and 17. So it doesn't go without evidence when I say we know that they manipulate the price of XRP. It's just why? Why do they go through such lengths to keep so many people out of XRP? What do they know that we don't know? And what my speculation is they know going forward, just like the World Bank came out and said a few months ago, that XRP is a stable coin. So what it's telling me is they're going to be a liquidity hub. It's not everybody that thinks this line always thinks XRP is the world reserve currency. That's not the case. What I am thinking and what I've been pushing since 21 with the stablecoin narrative, I put a video out in 22 as it's the basket of all crypto. Got about 7,000 views. It's in my most popular videos. If you take a look, it's probably the 5th or 6th one down based on views. Does a good job explaining it, but what I mean is when we go to digital, so there won't be any paper money. So the banks, if they have a liquidity crisis, we won't be able to just print money into oblivion, native currencies, the greenback. So what they'll have to do is have something like XRP, which has enough liquidity, having almost 100 billion total circulating supply. It would make sense why the price is right now, as I think it's one of the biggest case studies ever for as far as it being a stable coin, which means they can keep the price pretty stable, and yet the capital continues to flow in and out, and it's a perfect way to transfer money in a split second at a fraction of the cost of Bitcoin. So I think it'll be a good liquidity hub for banks. So if they need to draw liquidity, you say, oh, well, let's just say we give every bank 100,000 XRP. Well, depending on the amount of liquidity they need to draw, that's how we determine the price. So institutions, the liquidities, the big business. So let's just say with the liquidity crisis we're in, it ascertains a $10 XRP price. The price pumps to $10. The liquidity crisis is halted. Once it goes back down to where it needs to be stable, XRP to go to whichever price. If a liquidity crisis occurs and everybody who holds a split amount of XRP, the price needs to be 50, 100, and you see what I'm saying. That's how I think we're going to ascertain the price that most people want to get to, just not to the extreme that they think we're going. I think it's exactly what's probably going on, though. I think something like that is less far-fetched than some of the other ideas I've heard, and it would make perfect sense why you have all these contracts, why it's clamoring to be the first that has legality of being a non-security, why it's going through the ringer, because if it's going to be attached to the government, there can't be any questions asked, and it's got to look like it's been hammered to the public eye. What better way to do it than have an inside job? So with that being said, there's a lot we're going to talk about today. Please make sure to hit the like button so YouTube will recommend this live. With the extreme volatility, I'm expecting a few less people here this afternoon. The only reason I came on is because with the volatility, we're at an extreme point right now. The fact we're still holding that pivot point at 60 cents is huge. If we can get a close over 60 cents, this should help signal our push to 66.6 cents. We tell no lies here. And in fact, yesterday I told everybody, don't panic. This is an extreme shakeout. And what's going to piss people off tomorrow is the ones who bought in, the leverage traders who got liquidated, to see the price higher than where it was at before the drop. For the swing trade, or for the retail investors buying spot, which is where you should be, they're going to see the fact that maybe they bought in at 58 or 60 cents and they sold out because they're all of a sudden down 10 to 13% in minutes. And now the very next day they would have been up. So now if they invested $10,000, maybe they sold out 8,700, and now today the account would have been made whole already. And then some. That's the big slap in the face when I talk about retail investors not wanting to step in, because once they put their foot in the door, it's almost as if they get singed. Like their foot gets chopped off. But then they say, don't worry, we'll rebuild it back. Well, some people don't want it rebuilt back. Once their foot gets cut off, they're afraid their leg's going to get cut off, and then they're going to die. That's what happens with the portfolio. Some don't understand in accumulation phase, you need big bouts of volatility. The fact Bitcoin's over 61,000 right now with all of that volatility is amazing. It's incredible. There's one in particular that I'm watching with XRP, VChain. I think VChain had set up a structure at 47.7 cents. It's retested it all the way up to almost 5 cents, back down to that 47.8, never came through that formation. I think VChain's setting up for a 20 to 30% move here, assuming Bitcoin doesn't roll over. I think Bitcoin's targeting a 69,000 cup and handle, a cup that we've talked about, and finishing off the handle. I really do. I really think that's what's happening right now. So with that being said, let me timestamp this, and please, if you are watching today, make sure you hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this video. Recommend this live, and we get more people in here to help expand this great community. It might not just be for the new viewers. It might be for old viewers that through the YouTube recommendation has been lost in their feed. And with that being said, we got to help our friends find their way back home. It's that simple. I'll show you this as well. This is the Bitcoin cup and handle. Thank you, The Great Falling, for sending this as well. I have one on my chart, but he has it more in depth for the retracement, and it articulates perfectly what we talked about yesterday. If Bitcoin at 69, we would expect an extended handle to be formed before we push up to all-time highs in the 80 to 90,000 range, potentially. So there would be a big pullback. So we're going to go through all of that today. XRP chart, VChain chart, Bitcoin we'll take a look at to see how it gets to 69 and if in fact that's what it's targeting. And we'll take a look to see exactly what's going on the XRP market cap side as well. I thank each and every one of you, and a special shout out to the members of Tom's Army who allow me to do this each and every day. And if you're looking to trade XRP now, or you're looking to find a way to be able to trade it, whether on a futures contract or, like I prefer, a spot, look at the pinned comments in this live. It's for BITUNIX. BITUNIX does something a little bit different. They allow the USA users with no VPN or spot fees, with no KYC. And if you download right now, they have a limited time deposit benefit, which I seen this and I'm like, you know what? I know there's a lot of people that go around hunting exchanges so they can get quick rewards. If you're a big fish and you have $400,000, you get $5,000 deposit bonus. $200,000, you get $3,000. $50,000, you get $1,000. $10,000, $300, all the way down to $1 if you deposit any amount. $200, you get $10. $1,000, you get $20. $5,000, $100. $10,000, $300. So if you're a big fish, take advantage of what's going on right there too. Because I know I am not a big fish like that, but I know of some who have told me they hunt exchanges so they can get those deposit bonus, which I would too if I had that amount of money. Let me be honest. So good afternoon. 1:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, February 29th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So let me take a look at the comments real quick. I have no idea how many people are here, as I don't like to turn it on when I'm doing my opening, and then I'll look on my phone right away. Wow. Is there really 96 people here already through that opening? That's incredible. Holy smokes. Thank you all so much. Like, that really humbles me a lot every time I see this, especially on weird days. Please make sure you hit that like button if you're watching so YouTube will recommend this live and we continue to grow at this rate. White Lotus, welcome in. It's about time. It's Sean Crothers, welcome in, my main man from Maine. I'm appreciating your dedication you've shown me over the years. One of our first mods ever as well. Private Driver, welcome in. Thank you for being in Tom's Army. As I know now that XRP Meteor is the 3-month badge. Thank you for being part of Tom's Army for 3 months. Loco Beaver, welcome in. Hit that like button and put your XRP in a cold wallet. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kryptonian, welcome in. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for month 1 with the XRP emoji of me being abducted by aliens. It's true. It's damn true. That's how I know that you're in month 1. That's my face superimposed on there. Amber, if you're watching out in the abyss, thank you for creating that for me some years ago. Jorge, welcome in. And she sent that to me. I didn't even ask. It was a beautiful thing. Mr. Mac, thank you so much for continuing in Tom's Army for over 2 years. Rest assured, my friend, you're approaching 3 years, as it's going to allow me, because of you and one other person, or actually 3 or 4 other people, to do the 3-year badge here shortly. So thank you for being in Tom's Army for well over 2 years with the 589 badge. John Hall, good afternoon. Light Switch Tom, welcome in, and thank you for being in. Hey, moving up into Tom's Army for 2 months now, Tom. Thank you so much for that with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News, XRP indeed. Private Driver in XRP in Tom's Army for at least 3 months with the XRP Meteor says I sold gold and silver today. Loving my Dogecoin. Dogecoin's bonk and dog what did me well this week. Took small profits from the vet and put in the dogs 2 to 3x so far on them. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, Doge is doing well. Julie's Dogecoin, as you know, I bought her at 5.5 cents after selling her out at the Saturday Night Live. She was one that made thousands of percent just on a $50 trade when it was at 0.000 and some change. And now she's been holding it again, and she's very happy. I sent it to her, but her average was way down. And then she sold it at, I had her sell it on the Saturday Night Live. She made like $1,500 off of $50. And then I invested $550 back for her, just over 10,000 tokens. And she got to keep the rest of the cash, so good deal for her, good deal for her. Then I sent it back to her about 5-6 months ago, and now she's finally seeing it move, like, nicely. So congratulations to anybody who's in that as well. Jan, welcome in, love. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years. Over 2 years with the 589 badge. They know how big it's really going to be. I agree. I agree. I really do. Roman, welcome in. Good day to you, my friend. Faker, welcome in. Tom, where do the escrow coins go? That is a good question. We don't know. We're not sure. It's all speculation. Jeffrey, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for at least 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Good afternoon to you as well, and I appreciate the fact you appreciate my work. My question is, where do the release coins go? Do they dump the price with the released coins? No, most of the time, 50 to 60%, if not more, gets locked back right up into escrow. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting dynamic there, as XRP is over 61 cents approximately, right around 61 cents. We're going to get into that right away. Marvin, welcome in. Private Driver, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3 months. Matt Holden, thanks for being in Tom's Army for 5 months with the XP Predictor. Appreciate that. Harvey Boy, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Mike Stevenson, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for 2 months with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Ali, welcome in. Kyle Kupiak, Cape Cod. Kyle's also in Tom's Army, but for some reason it doesn't show it when he's in the live. I'm not sure why. Thank you for continued support in Tom's Army. Let's see. JW, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I really do. Jason, welcome in. I think we're all caught up now. Jason Miles, welcome in. Back off now. Renee, thank you for tuning in and being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. I really appreciate it. Michael Wallace, what happened if Bitcoin retraces down to 50 or 48K? Well, in my interpretation of what we're seeing, so let's get into this, and thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. Is out of 117 people, we've got about 44 people that could hit that like button, so please hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this video and we continue to grow this beautiful community. So we can grow this beautiful community. So with Bitcoin, Anthony Venegas, welcome in. So with Bitcoin, what we're looking at here is I'm targeting a cup formation. This is what we were talking about yesterday while I was doing the retrace. Is this what and we've talked about it before, what we were saying, don't get distracted. Because Bitcoin's technical target out of this broadening wedge we're in is up to 66,252. But what we were saying is it going to cap it off at around 69K, do a beautiful cup, and then form a handle? Unless it's right at that technical move around 66K, then obviously the cup could form there when it dropped. So then that might be where the technical target's pushing us right to the cup. But my thing is are we going to have a cup and handle play out? And if we do, let's look at what the Great Falling said, because I love to show my audience when they do send in their due diligence. So if everybody who's asking me, so he's thinking the same thing I am. That cup should reach around 69K. And when you bring it down, he's looking for that W reversal, the bullish Gartley at that, to come into play at around the 42,000, anywhere between 38,000 and 43,000 area would be where that big hit would be if it hits all-time highs. And that would be your approximate 50% retracement, maybe a little bit less. But that's how you could get a reset here. And he's right, that would retrace the stock, and it would allow the relative strength to cool off as well. So I think this is where we're heading. So if you see Bitcoin run up to 69K, be prepared, because in order for this to what the heck happened to my background? For this to continue, Bitcoin would have to have a very big consolidation. And that consolidation is not bearish. That consolidation is what forms the handle. Hold on one sec. Sorry, I don't like that background. I don't know what happened. I like the other one with the storm. It must have ran its time. But anyhow, that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. So what does everybody think? What does everybody think? Do we think this is the probability that could actually play out here with Bitcoin? Because if it does, this is how you could get up to 100,000 with Bitcoin. This is what would have to transpire. But don't think there's not going to be a massive correction if this plays out. So if we're looking on the chart as a whole, we've got Bitcoin, and you've got the first technical move from the broadening wedge of 66,252. But like the Great Falling, I absolutely agree with that. I think it's going to do something like that. And he's got his coming way down. And this was the initial area that it could pull down, but there's no doubt to me that it could come well below this. Where I have it is just targeting the top of the broadening wedge area to see if it would have a correction down to there. But it very well could have a much bigger correction. We're well in the overbought right now as far as the RSI, the relative strength index. So it would not surprise me, but that's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin. The only other thing you need to pay attention with Bitcoin is the dominance chart. It's at 54.2, which means it's dominating 54.2% of all new money that comes into crypto is going right to Bitcoin. So basically, it's like if you had $100 and you wanted to buy all your favorite toys, but 56 cents had to go straight to the government, or 54 out of that $100, so you only have $46 left for all of your other stuff. That's how it is with altcoins. Only 46% of the money right now goes into altcoins, even though it commands a much larger sector. Now, if you split it into Bitcoin and Ethereum, the odds are even worse that it finds your favorite altcoin. But as far as the dominance for Bitcoin, we're coming up to a major resistance. It's right up here at about 55.3%. So that's who is it I'm paying emoticon? What do you mean? The emoji badges, who are you paying it? I don't understand what you're saying. If you're asking with the emoji badge, it goes to me. That's if you're supporting my show and you're in Tom's Army, that's a way to support me. I get that. Every month I get once a month YouTube sends me my revenue. Who is it I'm playing emoji? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me. Anyhow, so that's the Bitcoin market dominance. If XRP continues on the trajectory it's at, we're looking for a close today over 60 cents. We don't have to do anything special today. We're up 5.32%, and it's almost one of those things. How did we get here? Well, the July of 2023 formation, even with a huge consolidation, and we can take this down because we met the technical target. But even with a huge consolidation, all we did was validated this move up, And like we said yesterday, 24 hours from now, when we look at this, we're probably going to be higher than we are before the drop. It's exactly what happened. It's a big kick in the you-know-what to somebody who just lost out on 14% of their profit or maybe got liquidated. And this is where I said, even as a leverage trader, you can do nothing wrong. And you buy it at the appropriate time, knowing it's going up to where it's going. And they have a huge liquidity scare, which is a flash drop or a flash rise, and then a big drop, and then you just have the combination. And no matter if you're going long or short, you get liquidated. That's how they have the funds to continue to move up, in my opinion. Makes it worth it for the exchanges. So I say spot is king. If you were in that 13.5% drop yesterday, you're up today in your spot position. You're not. You don't even know. If you didn't look at your portfolio for a day, you would be like, "What is that little blimp right there? Is that an error? Like, what the hell happened there?" But if you're a leverage trader, you are feeling it. I'll be right back. My cat wants to be let inside. I apologize. Goes. Come on. Hold on. I know, it's a nice day out. You want to stay outside. Hey, grab your food, kitty. Here you go, Ghost. Kitty. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, you gotta take care of the animals. Yeah, I know. Ghost, you're right, JW. Come on, Ghost. But yeah, so with XRP right now, the big moment here today is we're looking to have a close over the pivot point. And the importance of the pivot point right now is this is how we get our way up to the rising channel resistance, which if you've been familiar with my updates in the morning, every single morning for the past 2 weeks, roughly, in my thumbnail, I've been sharing this exact same scenario. Anybody familiar with it? Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm saying. In my thumbnail on my videos, on my update in the mornings, this is what you would see every single morning as the pattern's building. But I cap it with that 25.8% move after the breakout. Remember, we were targeting as a community when I told everybody, if you weren't in yet on this descending triangle structure, you could buy it at 486. You could be up almost 40% on the initial move. And then you could do with what you would say. That was about a 30 set. We talked about a 35 to 40% move. This is what we're in the midst of. Then we said when the descending triangle broke out, once it did, you would have a chance to buy it again on the back test for 25%. Now, some people will take that and say, well, I'm taking leverage. It back tested, right? It back tested. I'm going to go out on leverage. I'm waiting for the breakout. Hey, 54, 55 seems great. Maybe it comes down here, consolidates, and I'm a genius because it went way up here to 57.5. And look at me, I got in at 55. I'm riding it up. I'm on 20X, and then boom, down to 52, and I'm liquidated when I go to the store. And you're like, what the hell is going on? And then you don't care about crypto, right? Even if you're in spot, you're not caring. You're like, this is BS. It's manipulation. What is going on here? Not understanding with every great rise, you need a nice liquidity, which means that there's got to be crashes like this. There's got to be. There's got to be. Otherwise, you don't have the liquidity for the spike. And all of a sudden, XRP garnered the attention. We don't give a rat's ass about that drop. We're in spot. They play the mind games with leverage people. Also, they play the mind games with retail that are swing trading in spot. Or that when they buy in spot, think about this. There's 90% of people who invest. The moment they invest, let's just say they put 1,000. They don't expect it to ever go down a single penny. So if they're down 1, 2, 5, 7%, they'll sell out. The exchanges, they love it. It's like Scrooge McDuck when he sees his vault and he's jumping in the gold and silver. He loves it. That's because the exchanges rate the fees on everybody on the spot when they're buying and selling, or they understand that the person has just bought $1,000 worth. They lose 7%, and over $70, they're ready to call it fucking quits. How about here's a better idea. If $70 is going to throw you out of the market over a $1,000 investment, you're down 70, and if you really needed to look at $1,000, put $70 in it. Now you're back to even. Every time it goes down 10%, even the account. If you can't do that, maybe, just maybe, You know, we don't have the funds to invest. And I know how it is. I've been in the moment where all of my savings is in an investment. That's why some people say, oh, it's harder for millionaires. Bullshit. I think it's a lot easier. You have advanced capital. You can do what you want to do. As somebody who has maybe a $3,000 to $5,000 investment, and maybe that whole investment is your entire savings. So imagine that is getting hit at 10 to 20%, right? So that's why I think it's a lot more stressful for the retail investor over institutional investors that have a lot more money, or the whales. It's not their everyday paycheck. Most people that are trading XRP and are in this fine community with me right now are probably, if it goes to shit right now, that's it. It's the only chance they have. Period. If my portfolio didn't go the way I wanted right now, there's no two ways to continue the way I'm doing it. Just the way my investments are set along, I would not have the capital to be able to do exactly what I'm doing, to buy everything at the prices they are now. When I bought it, the stuff was around $7,000 for everything I bought. Right now, it's over $15,000. So put it in perspective. You know, that's how you have to think about this. And my cat's name is Ghost. So, it's, when you're investing, yes, a lot of people will call this gambling. But if you understand what this is exactly we're investing in, that's why I call it an investment. It's no different to me than anything else. Gambling would be going to a slot machine, hoping that it pays you something, and then taking the return and never having any kind of over the top. To me, investing on crypto is not necessarily for the short-term return like we're seeing, but for the longer-term investment opportunity. We have the opportunity right now to be invested in XRP at 34 cents on this cycle. Somebody else only has the opportunity to be in at 60 cents right now. Even if it goes down, our opportunity is still there. And now we have a nice likelihood where if we did go down below us, which is very unlikely to go below our 34.6, I'm just hate to break it to everybody, but the pattern formation from January of 2018 and the convergence for 27 months of the swing low from 350 all the way down to 10 cents and some change, and the lawsuit announced in 2020, and getting rejected in a mini bear market rally in 21, the fact that uptrend still held in 2020, 21, 20, or 22, 23, held through 24 now, it tells me that that could be the all-time uptrend now. And if that's the case, your price floor for XRP is around 38 cents. Which means if you bought it at 34.6, you may never get a chance to buy it again lower than where you bought it. That's the likelihood of where we could be at, with especially another run-up here, to where if it happened that Bitcoin had a 50 to 60% retracement from 69,000, if XRP is high enough around 80 or 85, that retracement could bring it down, and you don't know where your maximum opportunity is. Right now, I think it's very clear, and it helped out a lot yesterday by that drop, and I said it yesterday at the time, it doesn't seem like it, but this will likely be the catalyst to the next level up. I clearly see an inverted left arm, inverted head, inverted right arm now that even had the volatility. And now isn't this what pushes us up? And then if we do this, it could do something like that. If it's going to break out, matching that part of the pattern. I dare speculate that that's what's going on. I mean, if you're asking me what I think is going to happen, I think it's pretty clear what I think is going to happen. I've been saying the exact same thing. And for anybody who's new, and please hit that like button. If you appreciate and respect my time and appreciate what I do, we need to do better than 103 likes on 171 viewers. I think the content that I've shared you just alone right now is going to outdo anything else you see all day by anybody else. So look at the updates from just, not the lives that are an hour, but 24 minutes. You can see the exact same thing I'm showing as my title. I've been doing this for over a week now, almost 2 weeks, so you guys can see the exact move. There's no debate where I think it's going. Every single update I've been doing in the morning, I put that exact same screenshot with the updated price action. But please, hit that like button. I do appreciate it. And Axel, thank you so much for that $4.99 donation. Thanks as always, brother. I appreciate that, Axel. Axel is one of my earliest mods of all times. Been watching for a very long time. One of the most trusted people I've come across in here. And it's a beautiful thing to have people that appreciate what you do. And my mods, they don't have to do anything. They're just mods. In case things go out of control, there's somebody I can rely on. But we have a very nice community. Very nice community. Rowan, you're welcome. I appreciate that greatly. Yeah, that's why I came on this afternoon. Normally, I'll come on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do a live. But as you know, this is the third day in a row I've come on around this time to do an extended live so that I can do one now and then we can update at 7 because of the extreme volatility. This won't always be necessary, but as of right now, it's extremely necessary, in my opinion. VChain, like I said, VChain, watch this pattern. Watch this pattern because VChain, it came down here as well to that 435 on that consolidation yesterday. Watch this little setup here. It's very sneaky indeed. It is very sneaky indeed. But I noticed this last night and it caught my attention. Let's see how the best way to see this is. It's a very sneaky setup though off of that correction. How did I see this perfectly last night? I think this is the way we would have to do it. Right here. So I seen this and I said, all right, VChain, as long as it back tests the neckline and it holds, it's going. Nice W. This looks like a nice consolidation. It even tested this neckline actually beautifully right there. And now if it uses this to bounce off, you could say this is kind of like the consolidation and boom. I think somehow, some way, if it can hold this consolidation, mind you, it cannot lose 4.7. I would like it to not lose 4.7. I think it's 4.78. We don't want it to lose 4.78 because we need that 4.77 structure to hold. 4.78 gives it enough breathing room. And as we see earlier, that liquidity candle twice came to 4.785 and, yeah, 4.79. So beautifully timed. So that's the area that if it's going to break out, I anticipate this 200 would hold. And then we would have the continuation. And again, a lot of people got liquidated. So there's a lot of top-end money floating around here. So I find it hard to believe it doesn't come back up here and maybe exceed this level. So watch very closely because we're going to have to, again, there's going to be many different liquidity strikes here. Many. But if these areas are forming, you see how it's bouncing up, Bitcoin comes down, but even XRP is trying to make 60 cents a new support. If you're watching VChain, same thing at the 4.78 level. If it keeps bouncing around, keeps that level of support, it's got a structure built. If we lose these support structures, that's where all of a sudden the volatility can swing down. So once they break, it might look good, and you might be like, oh, well, how can it be that big of a difference on VChain from 4.78 to 4.76? Yeah, it's a big difference. Just like with XRP, how is it a big difference? A close at 597 to 60. It's a big difference. Huge. How is it a difference with Bitcoin? We really want Bitcoin to close, if you're asking me, over 61,300. Right now, if I was betting on Bitcoin, I think there should still be more volume coming in on this correction down if it was correcting more. Now, after what happened yesterday, you should not be surprised. You know the manipulation that goes on. Now we have to have the back test. It's that simple. Mariki van der Leen, thank you so much for sending your first YouTube super chat. I don't even know how much it was, but thank you so much for that, love. That is incredibly generous of you. It was for $6. Thank you so much. That's amazing. I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad, but thank you so much, Mariki. I don't even know. I like to think I'm good with names, but what do I know? But thank you so much. Thank you so much for paying it forward. That's all I ask. As it is the end of the month today, I always tell everybody, if you do appreciate my work, first, make sure to hit that like button so YouTube will recommend this video. And then secondly, consider joining Tom's Army. Get one of those emoji badges in month 1 of me being abducted by aliens. And even if you were in Tom's Army and you stopped and you want to rejoin, you start off cumulatively from where you're at. So if you had a month 6 badge, you start off on month 7 now. Even if you were away for a year, it's cumulative. It doesn't get taken away. So, or consider sending a YouTube super chat every month. Just one time is all I ask. Welcome in, Mr. Carter, hashtag mother second choice. He's out in the Outback somewhere, Mr. Professional. Beautiful band he's got, beautiful band. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the 589 badge. Mike Stevenson, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for 2 months with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Emoji badge. And if you're just coming in, make sure you take advantage. I pinned it, BITUNIX. USA users, it's a way to buy XRP. If you're trying to buy this in the volatile swings, or if you're just trying to figure out in the future when the volatility comes in, how do I buy it? That's the way to do it in the USA. It's the lowest spot fees you're going to find. Futures and leverage, no VPN or KYC even necessary at this point. Rick. Well, I didn't see the comment from Rick. Somebody said he hasn't seen that person here before. Ocho, you're welcome, my friend, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the 589 badge. God, I love this community. I feel like I recognize Rick. I recognize that emote or his picture on his profile. I'm pretty sure he's been here before. He's saying he has. I know I've seen that before. But I'm very anxious to see this right now, folks. Jesus is King. Praise the Lord with all your heart. Thank you so much, Private Driver, for the $2 donation and being a part of Tom's Army for at least 3 months with the XRP Meteor. First YouTube Super Chat sent. And yes, don't forget to give thanks to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Appreciate the spirituality being thrown around in chat as well. Thank you for that. But the most important thing we can do right now is stay emotionless. XDC right now, as I said a couple days ago, I thought it was in a beautiful spot at 396. It was in this descending structure, and it had its first chance to try to break out of this descending structure because it's in the expansion zone right now, as I like to call it. And this pattern's been going on for a little bit of time. If we go all the way back to the beginning, it's like an expanding, it could be seen as a bull flag, but it's gone since August of 23. So now we've come into this expansion zone. This is our first chance to break up now and try to push out. If we do break out of here, you could be looking at a greater than 90% rally here. And it could bring you all the way up to that 8 cent mark possibly. That's how big of a move we're building up here for XDC. So let's just pay attention to XDC. So if you're in this, I have 40,000 tokens. My first 27,777 I bought at 2.8 cents. Then I wanted to buy again. It made a big jump up into here at 6.1. And I said, if it ever comes below 4 cents again, I'm going to buy it. We had one shining moment right here at 396, 397, 398, and 399. I bought it around 397, 13, just about 12,300 more tokens. Gets me about 40,000 tokens, just over, at about 3.2 cents roughly is where I average it. It's probably lower than that, but it at least gives me a reasonable target to remember. So, and like I said, XDC, XLM, and XRP are my 3 least performing assets at the moment, I believe. Many others like DGB are up over 100%. You know, many Flare's up 600%. VChain's up over 200% already. I need to read that because I just missed who sent that. Darn it. But DGB right now is at 1241. And this was our prediction here for DGB, that it was going to come up and hit this resistance a long time ago. I said it way back when we bought it at 6. And then I told everybody at 008, it's a fantastic buy. In time, we're coming up to 1.3 cents, and then we're going to see. But we have higher ambitions than just that. And we're here now. Rick 1, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I know you've sent donations in the past, so thank you so much for paying it forward. I greatly appreciate that, Rick. Unbelievably generous by this audience. And yes, we put in our due diligence so far of 40 minutes, but I'm looking at a good hour here. A good hour before I log off. So another 22 minutes, you know, just because I need to keep my voice fresh for tonight as well, as I do a lot of talking. We've already done the 25-minute update this morning. I did a short video at about 12 o'clock just to get everybody in line. And then this, I mean, I can't ask for a better community, though. I can't think of another community on YouTube that is, I don't even want to just say this supportive, but has this kind of a mindset. And I know it starts from the top, but, you know, everybody can talk about a great leader or whatever, but the troops are really what makes it defined. Like, you can have a vision, but if your constituents don't believe in what you're doing, it doesn't work. This community understands what's going on to a finite level, and it's pretty impressive. If DGB breaks above this level and holds, you're looking at a big rally up, because we're putting in a bullish handle right now on the cup. And I tried to signify this if it made the second tier, and it did. Like, it did. We came out of here, and, like, we're building something. It came all the way down to here. So maybe that was the top and it didn't even come all the way down. If it rolls out of here like it is, that's a big move. This was a big move for some of these that needed for the consolidation. It's unbelievable. Rick says, Tom, you always nail it. Well, I don't like to say I always nail it, but my portfolio obviously suggests that we hit it at a beautiful time. And I did call Bitcoin, and I said, when we made that rally down, when we hit 26,500, I called the bottom and said, you better buy into your favorite cryptos. Everybody. Everybody. Because remember, we went 18 to like 38 or whatever. Then it came back down to 26.8, and I said, this or 26.5, because they went back to quantitative tightening or easing. You can't go from tightening to easing and think that we're just going to keep consolidating down. When they can print the money and put it into their defined tokens, it's a big mess. Not just that, right around that time they announced that the government, when they buy and sell government bonds, they get into the yields, they get into crypto or the stock market or the commodities markets, they don't have to pay on the gains. So while we're paying the crypto tax, the stock market tax, the trade, while we're paying capital gains and in the stock market and in commodities, they don't have to pay. They're exempt. So if the government prints $1 billion or $1 million, they make $300,000 off of it. There's no tax cost. But if we spend $1 million and we make $300,000 in profit in crypto, you're looking at 35%. Tell me how that's fair. It's not. So again, at the end of the day, we've got to deal with that side of the ramification. So there was no doubt about it that they were going to pump this up. Now the altcoins is the funny thing. Bitcoin at 60,000. Bitcoin at 60,000 or 61 almost as we're pressing. The last time this happened, the numbers were exponentially different. You're talking algo was almost at $2. Algo today's sitting and everybody thinks XRP is doing bad. Algo's at 21 fucking cents and it was at 250, 260. So it's not just XRP, but I acknowledge that the ISO and the Internet of Things, the IoT tokens have gotten hammered in this cycle. Hammered. That's why it was vital in 21 that we sold out at $1.66 with XRP. We sold out in the 50-something cent range for XLM. We sold out at 15 cents for a DGB. And our VChain was just around 20. Same thing with HBAR being, or not HBAR, ZIL. But it was imperative we sold out and bought it at 99% savings. 90 to 99% is what I preached in 21 and everybody laughed. Unless the ones who actually seen the picture. In 24, no one's laughing. The only ones that laugh are the ones that make jokes in the comments saying, oh, it went up a few pennies. Not realizing that, yeah, a few pennies from 34, and all of a sudden my 34.6, and now we're at 60 cents. We're almost at a one-bagger again. Even with a low-performing asset, that's what I'm saying. Year over year with XRP, my $3,500 investment from just a year ago has almost 1x'd. I don't know where you can put your money in the U.S. in a bank where you're not losing money with inflation year over year. So when some people will be like, oh, it's a terrible investment. If making 90% year over year right now is a bad investment, I don't want a good investment. Because if I would have lived by that philosophy my whole life, I'd be, just think of all your paychecks you ever made as a kid. If you're getting a return of 90% year over year, you'd be doing fucking fantastic. That's compounding as well. That money doesn't go anywhere. People will be crying loud soon. Hop on the XRP train and you'll be drained. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Mr. Bo says sales tax, property tax, luxury tax, capital gain. Yes, sir. And as I know, I'll be facing my almost $4,000 to $5,000 summer tax as I just paid my winter one, which was about $3,000. But in the summer, it's looking like $5,000 I'm going to have to pay. So that's something that drains you every single year as a homeowner. And look, here's another liquidity grab right now as we're on the air. As sure as I stand in this spot in front of you, we're having a liquidity grab right now. So, oh no, don't be sad about that. I can't bring myself to buy any above 34.6 cents. That's where I've got all mine at. It's my stronghold, and I won't do it. I'm in Michigan. That's where I'm at. I got socked with property taxes too. I know mine went up from just a couple years ago. It was about 6,000 for the year. They bumped it up to over 8,000 for the year. Same property, just overinflated how much my house is worth. If I was being truthful, my house would be worth anywhere between 160 and 175. They've got it labeled this year at 237. It's bullshit. I have massive amounts of equity, but it's still ridiculous. It's overvalued by at least 50 to 60,000 right now, and just an average economy, that might still be overzealous. You could probably say it's worth 125 or 130 in the right condition. I wish I had that attitude a while back with Mana. I'm never going to see that go green. Yep, I trust me, Axel. And the reason why we have these attitudes now and we have this understanding is because past experience. My past experience came in penny stocks and the stock market and things like that. Your average is up to 48 cents, Sean. That's fine. You have the accumulation attitude and you know why you're doing it and how you're doing it. You're not doing it just to buy. You have a goal in mind. I can understand it. But at no means, Sean, 2 for $1. 2 for $1 is not a bad price at all. That's right where my average, right where you're at was my average in 21, and I was ecstatic to have that average. Yes, sir. No. I see what you say. Glad you're in here, my friend. Let's see. What else do we want to cover today? While I have your attention, the total crypto market cap. Total crypto market cap at 2.202, and then we'll look through some news. We'll look through some news with XRP because right now we're in a liquidity crunch. We're trying to see if XRP can hold the 60 cents. We're trying to see if Bitcoin can hold this range and at least start pushing up. We want to see if some of these, because our first step, we have to hold in the 2 hour. That's why I say we're in a crunch right now. We want to hold around the 60,700 in the 2 hourly. Otherwise, it's going to force us to come down to about 59,000, about 60K. It would force us to that 60K level if we can't hold in the 2 hourly. And then ultimately in the 4 hourly, that's down at 58,700. So I like to look at the 2 hourly for short-term reversals. As long as we hold this, you could keep riding off the 20-day. So that's why I say as sure as I stand here, we're experiencing a liquidity crunch right now and a shakeout again. So this is going to happen throughout the day. You're going to have to survive these up and down ebb and flows right now. Do I think Kyle? Well, I mean, Kyle, do I think we're going to 66 cents? Well, for the better part of forever, I've been saying I think our ultimate target here is we're going to retest this rising channel resistance. Now, we don't know how much more liquidity we're going to have to grab, but I think ultimately we're trying to hit this 66.6 cents, whether bullish or bearish, and we're trying to hit this rising channel resistance. Oh, excellent, Sean. Excellent investment there with Turbo. Congratulations on that. So I think, in time, in the short term, we're going to be trying to push up here towards 66.6 cents. So I do, in fact, think we're hunting that. So I said yesterday, don't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow or when we're in the live tomorrow and the price is higher than where it was at before the drop. And that's unfortunately or fortunate for some people like us. That's exactly what happened. We do have a reversal candle right now in the 2 hourly. That's why I said we're every bit right now facing a liquidity grab. So, and it already came down the first time on this wick down to 59 cents. The first one 2 hours ago. So absolutely White Lotus. They're trying to keep us down. They're trying to give that negative connotation, not just the XRP, but a big part of it is XRP, but it is the crypto sphere as a whole. There's no mistake about it. The crypto sphere as a whole is interesting right now. Total crypto market cap, exactly what we've been thinking for some time, and we've had it drawn out. It came up to that, believe it or not, we came right up to that 2.28 target, and what did we say would likely happen when we got up there? We said once it got up there, we would consolidate to see if we're bullish or bearish. What happened? Boom, 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 and now we're consolidating. That's why we shouldn't be surprised of what's happening here. Should not be surprised at all. It's just, if this rotates and it breaks, you know, that we can see how that mountaintop, sometimes if it does, and then, you know, we got to see. But it did have a quick liquidity grab, back up. Now, if it can do this uniformly, it could bounce out. So there's nothing that surprises me about this move in the least. None. Zero. Kazilch. I'd be lying if I said that I didn't see this coming before, but we called this to the T. There's no other way to put this. We know exactly what's going to happen. It's just, how does it get there? Nobody can predict the up and down ebb and flows. Nobody can predict the fact that you have a 13% drop across the market yesterday just for it to be eaten back up. The only thing we can predict is the fact we know we have to have massive amounts of liquidity to keep the rally going, period. It's that simple. On the back burner today, gold's up $12.50 up to $2,046 right now. B2 Gold is in our exact area. I am fully invested now with B2 Gold. And with everything I was able to do on the way down, I'm right around and on the in and out, trying to figure out the right levels. $2.37. It went down to $2.32, back up to $2.41. So there's a myriad of opportunity here. The DXY, while we're here, the DXY is attempting to try to break out. And it's just an attempt. But we have to see, because this is important. If we can break out past 104.20, it does kind of open the door here to maybe make a rally back up to 103.50 or 104.99. However, this is an ascending formation, and if this happens to be like a right arm, as maybe we did have a topping pattern, as I just removed that, maybe we did have a topping pattern, and this did come up to a top, like up, boom, and then this is like a shoulder, and bam. If this happens, you'll be able to clearly see that that was a topping pattern forming. So, and we filled out the technical target even after a move up. So if this gets rejected here, major chance at big volatility to the downside, and eventually for the DXY, it's gonna hit its moment. The bricks are already uniformly dumping out of the US dollar. They're coming up with their own way around it for petro. So this is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's a matter of when. XRP Golden Cross 20 over the 50 EMA. What time frame? Kyle, let's see if we can find what you're talking about. Probably a smaller time frame. Oh no, you're probably talking about the longer time frame then. Yep, okay, you're talking about the daily. Okay, Kyle, good eye, my friend. Good eye. 20 did just cross the 50 as well here. That's a bullish cross. We have to see if this is going to play out, because this could be the start of a reversal. As we know, we're trying to correct a death cross. So this could be the first step in moving up. We know in the weekly, as we pointed out, the weekly golden cross is still very much intact when it was down. And we've talked about how this is the third occurrence ever, if you're new. This is the third ever occurrence on the weekly chart on XRP of a weekly golden cross. And it happened back where I circled it back here, back in July of 23. Every single time after the initial move up, we proceed to dump. The first two instances, 60% after the initial rally. This one was about 53%. So now you can say, if it ever happens a fourth time, on each of the previous three occurrences, we dropped at least 53% from the initial swing up. And then after that, the resulting consolidation and then the eventual move up, we've never had less than a 2x in this scenario when having a weekly golden cross that stayed intact. Never. The first time we had 1,000% move. I mean, it was huge. Huge. Second time was big. This is the third ever occurrence. And is it any coincidence that it's happening at the back end of a 6-year consolidation, over 6 years now, that started in January, and I can show everybody because this is the chart. All-time highs back here, January of 2018. On BITUNIX, it was at 331, or BitFEMEX, I mean, on their chart, 331. Came down here to March of 2020, the uptrend just over 10 cents, hit the new support uptrend. Came back again right before the lawsuit in July, bounced up. Way up. We had about a 7x. Lawsuit was announced, bounced all the way back down. Conveniently, this uptrend held. That 12-cent uptrend, it held. in December of 2020, proceeded to bounce out to the second hit of resistance in July of 21, which I say is the ultimate bear market rally, proceeded to come all the way back down and hit it again in 22, 23. Now in 24, what I'm saying, even if we're bearish, for a pattern to confirm like this, you would have to hit that third hit of resistance to confirm the pattern, and that's at around 75 cents. If that happens, and we don't break out, it confirms the consolidation to December of this year. If we break out, it could initiate the first signal up to $1.97, which conveniently retests the bear market rally of 2021. 3 years in cycle. It's been 3 years. Bitcoin is having 3 years. It would be in April from the massive move up from April of 21, the calamity of it all for most of our altcoins. So just put that into measure. My cat now wants inside, as you can probably hear it. Come on, Ghost. Get inside. So, for all those reasons and more, I'm very excited about cryptocurrency. I'm very excited about XRP's possibilities. And even if we do have a downturn, I'm not phased. I'm not phased in the least. I understand this at such a level to where it doesn't bother me. Even looking at my chart, until it gets to where I want it to, it's a number. It's more than a number because it can change everything. But we've got to understand. Yes, indeed, Great Falling Cat Games. And Great Falling, thank you for that Bitcoin chart as well. We went over it. I hope you were here when we did. I'll continue to show it, but I think it's on the money. As ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to an end here. Have about 5 minutes here towards the end so we can talk. No, don't be sorry. I got to bounce here too. My son's just finishing up his physical therapy. So Julie's going to be coming back home shortly. And I want to save my voice as well. For tonight's live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in here and pay attention to this on the way out with the Bitcoin chart. This would be an appropriate cup, and I love that he sees the same area as I did. That 69,000 area, that would be a perfect cup. The handle is beautifully designed here by the Great Falling, so thank you so much for that. If you guys do appreciate my work and you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the over 20,400 subscribers. Have solitude in the fact that I started in March of 2021. I've never missed a day. Not a single iota. I also don't do any paid promotions, paid advertising, paid sponsorships, or push any kind of product ever on the show. Consider joining Tom's Army or sending a YouTube super chat one time per month to help pay and fund me to put this great show on so I don't have to do the outside sources. If you're looking to trade XRP, look in the video description below on this very live or right now in the pinned comments for BITUNIX. If you are part of it or if you're looking to download, just understand with BITUNIX, you don't need a VPN in the USA and you don't need to do a KYC unless you obviously deposit money for the KYC. But if you deposit now, there's a cumulative net bonus. If you do 400,000, you get $5,000. 200,000, you get $3,000. And I figure I'll keep talking about this until it's done. 50,000, you still get $1,000. $10,000, $300, $5,000, you get $100. $1,000, 20. So if you're somebody a bigger fish, take advantage. Even if not, take advantage of the free funds. But in the USA, take advantage of the fact that's a place you can buy XRP on BITUNIX, spot or leverage, and they did not go down again yesterday in the high volatility. Uphold was down, Coinbase was down, Binance was down, Kraken was down. Hell, Coinbase, you couldn't even see how much you had in money. It was zeroed. So just, I use certain exchanges for a reason. I'll continue pushing them to each and every one of you. But this one in particular, for USA users, as it's becoming harder and harder to buy XRP, don't let them keep you out of it. Find any way possible to do what you need to do to get ahead, period. Other than that, make sure to hit the like button so YouTube recommends this live. And honestly, it's been a beautiful live, but I'm still very anxious because I want everybody to realize before I leave that XRP, right now we're very hardcore with Bitcoin, trying to hold, as we said, during this moment right now. And thank you all so much for being here. It touches me each and every day. You touch my heart. When I put this out and I see the community growing, it means I'm doing something that actually has value. I think we're going to have something special here. We already do. But what we're going to get in the end, if we continue to stay focused And understand the next motive here. They're looking at 69K, not just for the cup, but because that's going to start pushing all-time high areas for Bitcoin. And then they're going to start to have a big liquidity scare. And that means our altcoins could have a better than 50% drop when we get there. So let's pay attention. Let's be happy with the movement up. But at the exact moment that it has to happen, we'll talk about if the bottom or the top's in for the initial run and see what we have to do from there. But right now, accumulation phase, stay laser focused. Yes, the cannabis will be tonight, but the girls will be home from school soon, so I'm not smoking in the house. So yeah, but I'll see everybody tonight. Stay blessed. Thank you all so much for the support. And if you stayed until the end of this live, hashtag be better, do better. Thank you all so much. Like, honestly. Oh, and before I leave, make sure you watch XRP, the 60-cent mark. As we go forward, you'll see me tonight before the close. But as we continue going, let's make sure that XRP holds the 60-cent level and see what this consolidation candle plays out to be. Hopefully by the end of this, we'll be back up towards 61 cents, and it'll be an engulfing 2-hourly to the top side. So just pay attention. Thank you all so much. Thank you seriously so much. You've all blessed.